Destiny 2 suffers from so many problems that the community have been wanting fixed for a decade plus, and there just hasn't seemed to be that much progress on them. But now, with Destiny Rising, the new kid on the block, they've put in loads of effort to try and solve some of those pain points of Destiny 2. And so in this video, we're going to take a look at some of those and see how this could shape the future of Destiny and even become the Destiny 2 killer, potentially. The video is sponsored also by Destiny Rising, so without further ado, let's begin. So, to start with, the Destiny universe is massive, and that means that any Destiny new player experience is going to face a ton of hurdles that it's going to have to navigate. There's going to be so much stuff to learn, there's going to be materials over here and menus over here and abilities over there. It just gets crazy. So what does Destiny Rising do about this? Well, first of all, if you click on a material, it tells you how to acquire it and what it's used for, and it will even take you straight to the menu that is used in. So that'll help you keep track of all the random junk that you end up with in your inventory, which inevitably happens whenever you play Destiny. And then if you go back to your character menu and you're like, I don't really know what gear to equip right now, there's actually a recommended button that's going to show you what is best in class. And that feels like a huge quality of life improvement for a new player that doesn't really know what's going on. And then, speaking of those new players, if they don't know what to play, there's even a campaign in the game that feels very Red War-esque from Destiny 2 launch, because it onboards you to a bunch of the new systems and teaches you how to use your character. And I think it does a pretty good job of it, certainly better than I think the Destiny 2 experience is right now. And then on top of all of that, whether you're a new player or you're a veteran player, there's a training ground that explains all character abilities and combos, and so it makes it very easy to jump straight into playing a new character. So the bottom line for this little section is that you really do not have to be an expert to sink your teeth into Destiny Rising, which sadly feels like it's not really the case with Destiny 2 right now. You have to really fight tooth and nail to get into that game, whereas Destiny Rising does a fairly good job of on-ramping you, I would say. Next, let's talk weapons. There are a couple of weapon types that I'm sure you've been wanting to see in Destiny 2 for so long, right? Dual wielding, maybe? Any dual wielders in the chat? Yeah, so dual wielding sidearms is a thing in Destiny Rising. Akimbo pistols are very cool. People have wanted this for so long, and it's just there. It's in the game. It's sick. And then on top of that, there's also crossbows. Now, I know this is a recent addition to Destiny 2. We've got bows and we've got the sort of heavy crossbow thing, but the crossbows are cool, and just like in Destiny 2, you've got that sort of full auto option, and it feels really good because you can just spam huge precision damage with these things. So those are great. But there's a quirk with the crossbows, and actually not just with the crossbows, but with all the different weapon archetypes, which is that in this game, you've got characters, right? Like, you've got individual people. So Ikora, for instance, her primary weapon archetype is grenade launchers, and her heavy weapon archetype is rocket launchers. And this means that you're not going to be using the crossbow on Ikora. Instead, you're going to be creating a build for Ikora that feels really sort of aligned with the way her character works in this game. Like, there's a lot more kind of identity to the character and the archetype of character you're playing because of this. And that's the whole gacha model at the end of the day, right? You can unlock new characters by drawing for them, with 5-star characters being the most desired and the hardest to get. And you can obviously spend money to draw more if you want, or you can unlock them for playing. And just from my experience, you can play this game totally free and still get 5-star characters. I got 2 of them after just like a day or 2 of playing. So there's absolutely a path to them there, which is good. Now, once you've got a bunch of these characters, what do you do with them? That's the question. And the answer is there's actually huge activity variety in this game, and you unlock more activities as you level as well. So there's a bunch of stuff that I also haven't seen yet because I just haven't leveled there. And each activity has its own rewards to collect that reset daily and weekly, kind of like the old Pinnacle system. Now, one of the things that I think they've done, which is kind of mind-blowing, is they've made Gambit so good in this game. It's called Shifting Gates, and it's 6 fire teams of 3 players each in one big arena, and it's super fun because there's always something going on. There's a good amount of PvP. It's really fast-paced. I think the match length is about 8 minutes. And you also get a bunch of random encounters in it, like boss fights that grant tons of motes as well. And it's just mind-blowing that this is a thing in this game, while Gambit in Destiny 2 has been like a rotting corpse for so long. Like, it's actually fun in Destiny Rising, which is awesome, and speaks, I think, to the fact that a lot of people will say, oh, mobile game, like, it's just going to sort of be a little bit more generic or whatever. But no, like, they've actually really thought about the design of these modes here and put some effort in and come out with something really cool. So, I mean, props to them for shifting gates. Then on top of that, Sparrow Racing is back. I missed this when it originally was a thing, but it's back in Destiny Rising. And I mean, who doesn't want to show off how good they are controlling a sparrow, right? So this is just a nice way to sort of pass the time, have some fun, and mix things up between the other activities as well. And kind of feels like it should be a staple in Destiny 2. Can't believe this isn't a thing right now. Then on the 9 side of things, we've got Singularity Order and Singularity Chaos, which is basically a roguelike area where you choose between cards that boost power after clearing each stage. And there's 10 stages, and then there's a boss at the end. And the rewards are based on how good you are, so it's your first time completion, and then finishing within 15 minutes, and then finishing within 10 minutes. And there's even an endless variation of the mode called Chaos, and in Chaos, it drastically changes how your build works. So in my run, after getting all my roguelike powers, I had basically no cooldown on my abilities, but my weapons did much less damage, so I had to kind of switch up the way I play to deal with those sorts of modifiers. And I'm a massive Hades fan, so anything even taking a stab in this direction is something that I can be kind of effervescent about, so here I am doing exactly that. I thought this was cool. And on top of all those things, there's even a raid, which Scarrow was actually first in the world for, so shout out to Scarrow for that. But there's a raid, there's fishing, there's a turn-based card game, there's PvP, there's strikes, there's more stuff like a legendary campaign and grandmaster challenges that I haven't even got to yet. So there's a ton of stuff there. Then clans are more than just going to Hawthorne and grabbing a clan bounty, although I mean those are even gone now, so what the hell's the point in Hawthorne anymore? Now there's a whole social hub dedicated to the clan that is customizable and upgradable. And like, I feel like this could be a video in itself, dude. The fact that clans are such a forgotten feature in Destiny 2, in my opinion. And in this game, it's like, yeah, hang out with your clan somewhere. It's like, wait a sec, that makes so much sense. Why haven't we been doing this for years? So that's really cool. There's a new tower called The Haven, which really feels alive, and it's very pretty as well. There's players scattered everywhere. There's loads of NPCs. You can join a red team or a blue team, and you can play football with other Guardians. Like, where's that in the tower? We're just kicking that big traveler ball around. So all that stuff is cool. And somehow, I still have a list of like 50 things that Destiny Rising does that I just think are awesome. Like, I'm genuinely really excited that they're making these quality of life tweaks, because this is the sort of thing that's going to push Destiny as a franchise forward as well. So, first of all, you can toggle first person and third person with a keybind. It's no longer just a swords thing. You can just turn that on. Then on top of that, load times are basically instant, or at least they are on the emulator that I'm using to play. We'll talk about that more in a second. Then next, if you start tracking an activity that is far away, the game will prompt you to teleport to the nearest fast travel location, so you don't have to think about what's going on. And in my experience so far, those fast travel locations have actually been accurate to what I've needed to do as well. Like, I can't stress enough the number of times in D2 I want to do a thing, and then the game tells me to like launch a mission, and it's like the wrong thing. Like, it's so infuriating. So far, this has actually been really smooth, plain sailing in Destiny Rising. So I mentioned the emulator. It goes up to 120 FPS on PC, and you can just like one-click install it, which is nice. And it feels just like playing D2 or something. So it's super familiar if you're less inclined to using a mobile for your controls. And speaking of controls, for those of you that are controller players, you've got controller scrolling sensitivity for navigating the menus. I don't think that's a thing in Destiny 2 somehow. Also, you can click and drag the map, so you don't have to move the cursor to the edge to scroll. Again, how is this not a thing in D2? On top of that, the minimap is, in my opinion, more functional. So enemies, chests, objectives, world materials, and more appear on the minimap radar. You can place waypoints anywhere, which then show a trail. So you no longer have to do like a weird dance of jumping between other objective markers to try and map yourself somewhere. Instead, it just tells you where you need to go. Isn't that a crazy concept? So not only that, you can mark region chests and other exploration collectibles on the map. Pretty sure you can't do that in D2. Also, before starting an activity, it tells you what shields you're going to face and recommends characters to play based on their kits, which is really important in my opinion, because if you're a pro player, you can just ignore that suggestion, right? But if you're a noob, you're not necessarily going to know what the deal is there. And I think that this is something that D2 suffers from a bit, where if you've got like a barrier champion that's present, it's going to tell you that there are going to be some barrier champs there, but you don't necessarily have the wherewithal to be like, okay, I need to equip this thing and this gun and this ability, that ability. Like, that stuff is in the game in D2. It's just a bit harder to piece it all together for a new player. Whereas in this, you just got the answer in front of you, which I think is really, really important. Now, this next one is something that's also really, really important. It's vault space, baby. It's just not an issue. It's incredible. Like, they've solved the universe's hardest mystery somehow of why we don't have more vault space in D2. And you can also mass delete items based on rarity and power as well, which is really nice. Also, world mats are super easy to collect, and you can also collect them at range, because let's say there's like a material on the far side of the area that you're in, you can just destroy it across the room or across the area, and it will auto-collect no matter what range you're at, which is awesome. Public events have also got some quality of life improvements. So I'm sure you guys have been doing some random bounties or something in D2, and you are trying to do public events. And it's really frustrating because you have to pull up the map and sort of hope that one is going to spawn in. And if there isn't one spawned in, you just have to kind of twiddle your thumbs for a bit and waste a bunch of time. In this game, the way it works is the public event flag itself is just there, and once it's available, it's almost like a beacon that you can trigger at any time to then start the public event. So it has to be off cooldown, but it takes away the ambiguity of being like, will there be an event or won't there be an event? Instead, you just run up to it and start it if it's off cooldown, and you're solved. It's Mickey. It's sorted. So that's a really nice way to save some time. And speaking of time saving, you can also 2x speed cutscenes, which is like some crazy tech that I feel like D2 could never implement. You can progress dialogue by clicking. You can also skip cutscenes, and you're then given a summary of what happened. Oh, cinema. And on top of that, they've also got a whole post-launch plan as well, which is going to be like a seasonal update model that I don't know the full details of just yet, but I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to, because honestly, I think that this game does a lot of things right. They've made a huge number of improvements on real pain points that are just general Destiny pain points, and that gives me a lot of hope for the future of Destiny Rising. So I'll have a download link for it in the description if you haven't already given it a go, but they've hit some crazy number of downloads already, so you've probably already got it on your phone. If you haven't, make sure you go click that link. And it's not only on mobile either. If you want to, you can download the PC emulator experience as an alternative option. And if you want to see some more Rising content from me, maybe a guide or two, maybe just some more coverage like this, where I just look at some of the cool features that they're introducing as time goes by, then absolutely, please do let me know in the comments section. Thank you for being here today, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.